Good evening, everybody. This is Emma from JEP. I'm going live tonight with Darren, and we're going to be chatting about charity shops and what they do with unsold clothes. So, here he is. He's just joined in, so I'll just wait for him to... Just going to let him in now.
Hello.
Yay! Hi, Darren.
How are you? You all right?
Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, I'm well, thank you. I've just scoffed down some dinner very quickly. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. I've had quite a lot of people have turned on the notification to
No
join, so
worries.
I think people are excited to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna start by saying about how we met, because it's not really charity shop related, is it?
No.
So I met Darren just over a week ago at a van life festival. I think that's what you can call it.
Yeah, it was
um,
Adventure Overland show.
yeah. So we got chatting about what I think you asked me, what I do for work, which
Yep.
most people have that question, don't they? How do you
Yeah.
sustain your life on the road? So that's how we got chatting about charity shops, because I told Darren that I upcycle textile waste. And so then you had lots to tell me about what charity shops do with their clothing. So Darren also lives in his motorhome. But Darren, tell us what your role used to be when you worked in a charity shop.
Yeah, so I've worked in two kinds of roles in charity shops. I worked as an assistant manager for, it was Age Concern at the time. Then they changed, they transitioned to Age UK.
Yep.
And then I was a area van driver for Marie Curie Cancer. So I had, I can't remember if it was about 15 or 19 shops. I think I had about 19 shops in the south, which I then just went all around and serviced all the shops.
Okay, so you got to see quite a lot of shops behind the scenes.
Yeah.
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 So, and just to say, if anybody's got any questions that they want to ask Darren, then put them in the chat.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah, and we'll get to those. But I want to start off by saying that I thought lots of clothes went to landfill from charity shops, and I did another quick Google just before our live tonight,
Yeah.
and I put it in, like I literally put in, what did I put in? How many clothes do charity shops send to landfill? And all the results are like, yeah, like millions every week.
Yeah.
But please tell us, give us some positive news. Please tell us what your charity shop do with those clothes.
So from both of them shops, that was two different shops, two different times, across multiple years that I was working in both of them. Yeah, we don't throw them away. Because the charities want to make as much money from them as possible. So yeah, I mean, stuff that comes in could be rubbish, completely useless, unsellable. No one would buy it. It's just not worth anything. So rightfully, people would go, "Oh, that should be thrown away." But we would send it to what was always known in the industry as the rag man. So bags would get clothes, textiles, anything that's unsellable would get bagged up into 10-kilo bags, and then from my shops they would get thrown down the stairs. They'd end up in the in wherever storage they've got, because shops are pretty small. They've got limited storage. And then every week, depending on the quantity, but sometimes some shops every other week would get a collection from the Ragman, which is a textiles company, and they'd come along and then they'd take the bags, and then they'd write out a receipt and give a receipt, which then they'd be paid for. The charity shop would be paid for.
That's great, isn't it? So do you know what the rag man then does with those rags?
Yeah, so I'm led to believe, and I've spoke to a few of the ragman before, and they go to a sorting depot, because obviously a company isn't going to pay even 10p a bag if they can't recover that 10p. There's no company in the world, because that guy that's picked them up, there's fuel, there's everything, there's his wages, so there's got to be a business there. So throwing him to landfill is not a business. There's no money.
Yeah.
You throw them in landfill, money don't come back out.
Yeah.
So they then get sorted at another depot. Anything that they can take, like shoes and trainers and all this and that. Anything that's, without being rude, sellable in like the Eastern Bloc or Asia, but what wouldn't come to our standards. But when I say sellable, it wouldn't be in like a shop. It'd be like a jumble sale kind of thing. So if it's just got a little button missing or a little nick or something, or it's got a scuff on it that we wouldn't sell, or it hasn't sold, they would then take that, put that to one side, ready to sell to another market. Anything that was completely useless and could not be resold, would then end up as shredding material, and it would end up as mattress filling.
That's really cool. So I work with scraps sometimes as well.
Yeah.
You know, I use up my scraps and I make sort of macrame cord from scraps, but I have too much that I can deal with as well. So if I was to actually give scraps to a charity shop and say rags, would they, I mean, I probably would take it to Age UK because I know that they do that based on meeting you. Would they take that and willingly give it to the rag man? Because otherwise I'm putting stuff in the bin because I can't get through it all.
Yeah. Now, with the charity shops, there's only 2 paid people in the ones that I worked in. There's only 2 paid people. That's the manager and the assistant manager, and the rest are volunteers. So their time is so stretched, it's unreal. So if you walked in with a bag and you label it rags, it's pre-done, and even if you say to someone, it's all clean, or it's nothing horrible in there, but it's just unsellable, they haven't got to sort it. They might have to decant it into their own bag. That's probably the most they might have to do. But yeah, they're more than happy to take that, because then that's going to be, I think we were getting at the time, I don't know what the industry is now, but at the time I think it was like 30p, 40p a bag, something like that, for a 10-kilo bag of whatever's in it, because it could be handbags, could be shoes. You know, they're all bagged together. Like all shoes are in one bag, all bags are in one bag, all textiles and clothes and things are in another bag. But yeah, if you've then chucked all that into one bag and it says rags, that's the easiest money they've ever made, because they've just got to put it in their little pen, where wait until the guy comes, and then that's it. They'll collect it.
Yeah, that's really good that system is in place, because I bet so many makers like me would have lots of scraps and it's just going in the bin. So we can take it to charity shops. I guess maybe ask, do you take rags? Check. Would you think?
You could go in there and check, because you can say what your line of work is, and then they just say that I can, pre-sort it for you. Anything that's good I can give to you that's good. Anything that's not, I'll just put into a bag called rags. Because then they haven't got to sift through bags. Now you can imagine how many bags come through the door. I mean, there are so many bags that come through the door. So, and you have to sort through all these bags. And the sorting can be done by volunteers to an extent, but then it has to all be double checked and triple checked and then priced by the manager and the assistant manager. So it's a lot of work. Along with running the entire shop, they've got to do the entire stock. So I mean, there is, so you can
understand maybe if you can maybe understand why some might say, oh no, sorry, we don't have time to, even if it is rags on it, because some people have messaged me and explained that they've had bad experiences trying to build a relationship with a charity shop for the same reason that I would, wanting their waste, and they've just had an outright no. So I guess it depends how stretched they feel as well.
I mean, they are really stretched. They've got head offices putting targets on them to try and be be the best that they can be and earn more, earn more, earn more. And considering like they're running them like retail shops
Mm.
instead of actual charity shops, because obviously I know they want more. The more money they can get, the better. We all understand that. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
But when they've got like targets, so like this time last year you made X, Y, Z. Now you need to make 10% more or 15% more. How do you do that when you can't guarantee the stock?
Yeah, that's true.
So they're putting that stress on them. They then have to try and making the shops look like retail shops, like fashion shops.
Yeah,
So
with displays and
with the
everything.
displays and all this and that. So then you've got the manager and the assistant managers and all this and that being pressured to make the shops look as pretty as possible with stock that's being donated. You can't guarantee what you're going to get. You could get 500 coats in a week. Well, none of that's
Yeah.
good in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you've explained that to me before. We're totally going off script here. It's totally fine. Tell us what happens with the coats that are given in the wrong season.
so
What do they do?
now again, these are dependent on the size of the shops and the if the collective shops have got like someone like me that used to go around and a warehouse that they can put stuff in. So when I was doing it for Murray Cure Cancer, we had the warehouse and we made like individual pens for all the shops, and we had a summer and a winter pen for each shop. So they couldn't store much. They could probably store maybe 30, 40 bags of summer
Bin
and
bags.
winter. Yeah, bin bags. Yeah, 10-kilo bags. Yeah, I mean they'd stretch
Yeah.
it to the max, but so I mean there's a lot of stock to hold, but then
Yeah.
to fill a shop floor that's not a lot of stock. So if, for instance, you've been given a nice, let's say a nice, I don't know, Armani coat or something, in the middle of summer, that's going to sell, but it's not going to sell now. No one wants to buy a
Mm.
coat now. And if they are going to buy it now, they're going to expect a very discounted price.
Mm.
So good managers and good would hold that stock. If they've got their own storeroom, they would hold coats and then they'd put them either on racks and rails, and then store them in certain areas of their shop ready for winter or summer, whatever season. Or they'd give them to me and then store them in the warehouse. And then when that season comes, they'd say, right, can we have all of our winter stock? And then I'd just bring all the winter stock through, or all
Yeah.
their summer stock. So I mean, like, you'll have people bringing in summer stock in winter, and it's all like pairs of shorts and t-shirts that have still got tags on.
Mm.
So it's
Mm.
perfectly sellable,
Yeah.
but you don't want to sell it in the middle of winter because you can't make a display on that. No one's looking for it, and it's just
Yeah.
it's pointless. So
Yeah.
it's pointless to rag it because you can sell it. So yeah, they do hold on. I mean, I would say most shops, to an extent, try and hold on because again, they're being pressured to meet targets. So
Mm.
when they know they've got a good coat or a good suit or something that they can get 50, 60, 70 quid for, they're going to hold it because they know it'll help their targets.
Yeah. No, it's so good to know that they do that. It's pretty smart, isn't it?
Yeah,
And I guess, but yeah, limited storage perhaps as well.
yeah,
Um, so they would, choose what they think is really worth keeping.
yeah.
Can you explain what happens to the life cycle of clothes? So the 2 week cycle thing you were telling me
Yeah,
about.
yeah, sure. So, again, there's usually when you go into a shop, you'll usually see a price tag, and there'll be some sort of symbol or marking. There'll be a date, and then maybe a marking on there. So it'll have a date. So it'll be usually 2 weeks. So t-shirt comes in, perfect t-shirt. They price it up for $5.99, and then put the date on it for 2 weeks time. So then that goes down to they steam it, then it goes down to the shop floor. They put it on the shop floor, and then it lives on the shop floor for 2 weeks. So then you've got volunteers going around, and then the manager will say at the beginning of the day, right, take everything off of the 19th. and then they'll go round, they'll take everything off of the 19th, for instance. So that t-shirt that was £5.99 hasn't sold, so it comes off. They'll then bag all that up, and then when it comes off, they'll bag it all up, and then they'll give it to someone like me. Then I'll take all that stock, and it could be one bag, it could be 10 bags, and then I'll distribute it to other areas, to other shops, to give it another chance to sell. So
Yeah.
again, this is where I would try and then talk to certain shops to see what kind of clientele they've got, because you wouldn't take something from like Southend and put it into like into central London, because they're two different, city slickers and beach goers. It's just not.
Yeah.
They're completely
Yeah.
different. So they wouldn't. You try and keep like for like, and you try and move them around the network as you can. So then when I turn up at another shop, I give them all these transfer bags, and then what they then do is they then relabel them, but they then put a letter T on them, so they know that they're transfer stock, so they won't go round again, right? So
Okay.
what they do is then they're on the rails. They might be repriced, depending on that shop, what the manager thinks they can get for the item. So they go do another 2 weeks on the second shop's floor. After that 2 weeks, they will the manager will then go around and say, right, can you take everything with a letter T and this date off? So they all come off, and then after that, unless it's exceptional and the manager wants to keep it, like for his or her reserves, like say for the winter or something, all the tea stock, which is done 2 weeks on shop 1, 2 weeks on shop 2, will then go into a bag and then end up in rags.
Okay, got it. There's such a process to it. It's
Yeah.
really fascinating how much thought. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
want that to sound rude, like it's a thoughtless
No, no,
thing.
no. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not, but like
it's
so much, like
yeah,
really try and give it the most chance to sell.
yeah,
Um,
and you
Go on,
can't
sorry.
you could. People would say, why can't you just keep transferring it? If it's good stock, why can't you just keep transferring it? And to an extent, I mean, sometimes a manager would give me a bag of stock and say, just send that to so and so store, because they're in touch with each other, like within the network.
Yeah.
Just send that one there. She needs some boots and she needs some shoes. Send her them. But on a whole, there's so much quantity going through the system. We couldn't keep
Mm,
up
mm.
with it.
Yeah, just better to get new stuff in.
Yes.
So can you explain how things are valued and priced, how that is decided, and are there things we should actually avoid giving, like things that just like don't ever sell
Yeah.
and should just be ragged up? Is there anything that you can say about
Yeah.
that?
Anything from Primark, unless it's got a new label on it, even then will not sell.
Yeah.
It's just what they're going to, it's taking valuable space on their shop floor when you could go, which is wrong. I don't know how I know how they do it, but it's wrong. When you could go to Primark and probably buy it cheaper from what the charity shop want to sell it for.
Yeah, I think when I've
Yeah.
seen charity shops do that, it just doesn't look good. It just makes me think, oh well, everything's going to be expensive in here because they don't even realise
Yeah.
that that's Primark. So
Yeah. I
kind of
mean,
puts you off the charity shop, I think.
it's not. Yeah. I mean, because we got given a sheet of paper and it'll be like Monsoon price mark next price mark, TU, all the different brands, and like brackets of brands.
Yeah.
Will be priced, and then, but again, a good manager will know their area. So even if a t-shirt was, um, £4.99, if it's a hot area with like college kids or uni kids, and they know that's retro and that's the kids will pay more, she'll put it up at £6, £7.99, £8.99, because they
Yeah.
know their area, they know that will sell, and they'll try it for a week or something.
Yeah. Good.
But there are pricing brackets which they kind of run by, and they do get judged. I mean, like area managers will go into these charity shops and check their pricing and check their things and judge them. Oh,
Wow.
you've put that too high, you've put that too low. You know, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that.
I
It's
suppose that's a paid position, isn't it? Just like any job, you have to be kind of reviewed, don't you, how you're
yeah,
doing?
yeah, again, but they're treating it too much, in my opinion, too much of a retail shop.
Mm.
Which, yeah, I think it's, at the end of the day, they're trying to make something from nothing. So
Yeah, that's true.
it's it is a pretty hard thing. But yeah, there are pricing things, but anything that's really cheap that you can get probably for a couple of quid or less, just rag. Yeah, just
Yeah,
rag.
yeah, yeah. And what if somebody has clothes that they know are too worn? So, I mean, maybe this is the rag answer again, but you know, sometimes I get people messaging me
Yeah,
saying, "Oh, I've got this for you. Can you make your products out of this? What
yeah,
about this?" And some, like recently, I've said, "Oh, I don't think that's quite the right fabric for what I'm making." But she said, "Oh well, it's too worn for the charity shop. That
yeah,
it's worn through, or the knees have gone worn or
yeah, yeah,
whatever."
yeah.
But so should they do the rag thing,
Yeah,
like put it in the bag and say
all that would
rags?
be rag. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's there's so much other stuff as well. Like there's a whole list of things that they can't sell. Like I mean, like hand knitted clothing for babies that really skilled grandmas and I suppose grandpas as well, maybe, I don't know,
Or
but
young people, I can knit.
yeah. um but they've knitted the most amazing little jumper or socks or gloves or something, and it's really intricate and it is like pristine quality,
Yeah.
but they can't sell that because it's got no labels. It's not safety regged, it's not fire regged, and the holes could be too big or too small, and then the child could get the finger stuck.
Mm.
So things like that you can't be sold. So yeah, I mean they'd have to be ragged or passed on to for stuff like that. I'd pass on to a family friend or something.
Yeah, 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 or cargo
Um,
or something, I suppose,
yeah.
where there's no regulations. Yeah.
And then things like kids trainers, kids shoes,
Oh yes.
can't sell any of them.
Why not?
Until they get to about, I think it was like 5 or 6 years old. They can't. They're not really meant to sell them. Some shops do, and they're not really meant to. But because the child's feet are so soft and so still growing so fast, where a child's had the shoe, say for 6 months, they've made an imprint in the sole, and then if another child comes along and puts their foot in it, it could then mold their foot to their imprint.
Mm.
So that's why that we got told not to. We don't
Wow.
sell them.
Do you know where we should take kids' shoes then? We're like Facebook Marketplace, I
You
guess.
could, yeah, you could do that. I mean, if they're like little Nike trainers, then yeah, Facebook Marketplace or somewhere like that. If they're scuffed up, rag them. They'll take them as
Oh,
rags.
even that can be shredded up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Everything will get
wow.
shredded.
Oh wow. Even like leather
All
handbags.
all the handbags will get shredded. All the shoes will get shredded. Everything will get shredded.
Wow. Oh, that's so
Yeah,
good. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. I am gonna go make
yeah,
friends with the charity shop manager.
yeah,
Camper Vibe has said it's things you don't even think about. I think that's about the shoes. I mean, yeah, I had no idea about that.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
quite educational. Callum and Tash have asked, hi guys, they've said,
Hello.
if there's so much stock in the system, why do they price in line with retail and try to compete in that space?
That is because of the head office. That is
Oh,
because the head office trying to make them a retail shop. Yeah, that's not because of, on a whole, it's not because of the managers. That's
no.
because they're trying to
Make
say,
money, I
well,
guess.
yeah, they're trying to make money. They're trying to make it's a bit of a stupid mentality. It's like if you want to, they should be stacking them high, selling them low, and then getting them out as quick as possible.
Yeah,
Not
definitely.
not trying to sell them high and selling one or two. You want to sell 50 t-shirts a day, not 10.
Especially if there's that
Yeah,
many coming in, which
yeah,
there is, isn't there? So,
yeah. I mean, yeah, because
yeah.
people treat charity shops as the dumping ground.
People are looking for a bargain, aren't they? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. They
they're
are.
more
Yeah,
likely to buy if it is cheap.
Yeah.
or cheaper. So I want to just going back to the where we started really about this whole thing about do some send things to landfill, because there's so
Yeah.
much in the news about it. There was a Times article that I found. So I think it's great to hear what your experience has been. Obviously a
Yeah.
positive thing about the ragman coming and taking basically everything. So
Yeah.
it's confusing why there's so much press around landfill being part of the system.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that? Why it's
I
like
mean,
so
I sup-
confusing?
I suppose from the ragman there is going to be some landfill from there. So it's a natural progression, isn't it? It's just gone through the chain, and then there's going to be stuff at the depot which they can't use, or they just. I mean, they're going to have. I mean, I don't know how many mattresses and that are being made in the world, but they're probably going to have more supply than they need from us.
Okay.
Because I could give when I was manager of the shop, I could give them 80 to 90 bags a week.
Wow. Oh my
You know,
gosh.
yeah, and
Just
that's
from one shop as
just
well.
of rags.
Mm.
You know, I mean, they're not driving around in small vans; they're driving around in 18-ton vehicles.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know, class 2 vehicles. That
So did they
so
ever say sorry we can't take any more? Did you
no,
ever experience that? Or they take it anyway?
yeah, they take it. They take a lot.
Okay.
They might lower their prices, and their prices fluctuate a bit.
Right.
But yeah, but they will take everything. So they take, like when we had the books, I think we get 10p for a bag of 10 kilo of books.
Mhm. Wow.
So they take all the books, all the DVDs and videos. They take all of them because there's just so many of them coming through.
And what
Um,
do they do with those?
I believe they sort them and try and resell. I think they scan them as well at places to sell them on to these other places now, like the Magpie and the CEXs and all them places. If
Is
they
that like retro stuff? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so you can get apps. You can get apps on your phone like I think Money Magpie and CEX and all that, and you can get a whole stack of DVDs and
Oh.
scan barcodes, and then they'll say, yeah,
Oh,
we'll
so
give you
somebody
10p.
wants them somewhere.
Yeah, they'll give you 10p or they'll give you £1, and then they'll put them in their shops.
Okay.
Um,
Gosh.
yeah, or they'll recycle them for the plastics.
Sure. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there's a lot of
Um,
that going on, isn't there?
but then also all the bric-a-brac, like all the plates, all the cutlery that comes in, all the vases that come in,
Yeah.
all the bread bins, the chopping boards, the lamps, the lampshade, everything that comes in
Mm.
will, yeah. I mean that stuff does, some of it does end up in the bin, but as a whole, whatever can't go through the till goes to the rag. Used to go to the ragman, unless they've changed
Okay.
dramatically. Then
Okay.
that's what it used to do.
Yeah, yeah, and then the ragman decides whether to bin it or if they can do something with it. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
process there.
yeah,
So, if I was looking to build a good relationship, because for me
yeah,
and other members that I know, it's a great resource to actually
yeah,
help them get rid of their stock, and it
yeah.
provides material for us. How would I go about building that? So that I don't get that outright no. What would you say I should do to get that good relationship with
I
with,
would,
with shop?
I would go in and try and talk to the manager on a quiet time, which would probably be maybe like start of the morning. As they're just starting things up, not as soon
Yeah,
as they open, but maybe 9, 10 o'clock when they're still just getting ready for the day. They're having a cup of coffee. They're warming up because otherwise the day just gets so hectic.
yeah,
Um, and then yeah, just go in and say, look, I understand. I'm led to believe this. I'm led to believe that. I understand this. I understand that. This is where I'm coming from. I'm more than happy to put some money into the donation pot. You don't have to sell it to me. I don't need receipts. I put money in the donation pot. I'll just take it. Whatever you can do, I can. We can help each other out.
yeah.
And then whatever I don't use, I'll bring back labeled rags so then you can just get the money back for that, whatever you need. So whatever you do use, you keep obviously for yourself, and then you're just trying to make as little impact on their day as possible.
Yeah, it's a good point. Everybody's human, aren't they? So
Yeah,
to pick a respectful time is a good shout. And
yeah, and they're trying to
yeah, I
juggle
guess
with
if you
volunteers.
yeah, and if you go in kind of sounding like you know how it works, like now you've explained it, then
Yeah,
they're maybe more likely to kind of be like,
yeah,
oh, this girl is serious and she knows
yeah,
her
yeah. I'm not
research.
just because I mean you used to get people coming in and they want everything for 50p.
Right.
It's like I mean they ask for the world. I mean and then obviously once you've been asked that 500 times, it gets a bit annoying.
Yeah.
And obviously someone that asks it the 501 time gets a short answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
which is a pain, and they're like you say, they're only human. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you try and come across, as helpful as you can be, as help to them, and then their situation, say, I know you're busy, I know you're under the thumb of it all, and under the gun of it all, but it's yeah, it's because they do have so much stuff. I mean, it's unreal the amount of stuff that comes through the doors.
Yeah, I would have thought they would welcome somebody to come and
Yeah.
take stuff off their hands, especially if they've got so much for the
I
rag
mean,
man.
if you're pretty specific on what you want, then that might be more of a help. If you're just a bit, I like this kind of stuff, and it's a bit pie in the sky, then it's like, well, I'm not going to spend hours thinking about what you might need and what you won't need. But because some people come in and say, I need towels for dog beds.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's a towel just gets chucked in the
Oh, that's
corner.
easy. Okay.
That's easy because towels just get chucked in the corner. In most of the shops I was at, they got chucked into a corner. Unless they were really a bit tatty, then they got put in the rags. But towels were kept in the corner, and then every now and again, a woman in every town in the country would come in and go, "Can I have some towels for the dog beds?" And then you just bag them up and say, "Yeah, there's a load of towels for £5."
Yeah, because I guess those don't get sold in the shop, so they've already been
No,
like
they would
put
get
aside.
ragged. They would get ragged, but
Yeah.
the managers know that they want them for dog
Oh, I'm
beds.
with you. Okay, because that's already there.
So
That person.
if you
Yeah.
said I'm looking for curtains, not any specific size, I don't care what size, I don't care what color, but curtains because that's the material you want. I'm just spitballing, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Then if you said, yeah, can you just save me 4 or 5 curtains, and then I'll take them, and then that would be easy for them to do.
Yeah. I'd probably say, but curtains normally a bit thick for me. I'd probably go in and say like
Yeah.
bed sheets. I mean, I
Yeah,
can
that's
use
fine.
other
Yeah.
things, but for me to say, oh yeah, I can have shirts and t-shirts, then it's getting too complicated, I guess.
Well, yeah, because
But
then that's just like, yeah, that's just, unless you just said, can I have a bag of rags?
well, yeah, and then like you said,
And
I could bring some back
yeah,
if they're happy for that.
I'll just give you a couple of quid for the bag of rags because that's going to be more than what they're getting anyway.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Um,
Can you tell us also what happens to books? Because I just think it's so fascinating. I think other
yeah,
people will find it super interesting.
the books is crazy. It really is. So when they get taken to by the ragman, they then get sorted. And again, this is all talking to all the different ragmen that I've dealt with. So they go to the sorting, and then they get sorted into grade A, B, and C, and then they get put into shipping containers, and then they get shipped all around the world to whoever will buy them in secondhand bookshops or maybe schools or wherever and whenever. So
This
I
is
know it
books that
happens.
haven't been able to, like, how is it, 2 week cycle again for books like
Yeah,
the
2 week
post? Or
cycle, 2 week
yeah,
cycle, and we get so many of them. I mean, they might be like pristine, like like the Blue Planet book, a real beautiful color pages,
nice book.
nothing wrong with it, mint condition, probably never been read, to be fair. Perfect.
Maybe, yeah,
And then someone's donated it, and then they've put 50p on it, someone doesn't want it, and it's just gone into the rags, and so many of them go into the rags. So yeah, then I know this happens because I've got friends and contacts in Thailand. So the secondhand bookshops in Thailand will ring up these companies, these sorting companies, and they'll say, I'll have a container of A. So that's A grade books. They don't know what they are. They'll be anything from Postman Pat to the Blue Planet, and then all the genres in between. You know, it's just books.
Yeah.
And then that will come over. It'll be shipped over, and then they will then spend months unloading it, you know, into their warehouses, and then they stock. So you've then got, this is mainly in tourist areas. So you've got a nice tourist area in, like, say, Phuket. They're all tourists from all around the world. 9 times out of 10, English is the predominant is predominant, and when people are abroad, they all want a book around the pool. So then you've got all these. You've probably seen them when you're abroad. You've probably seen secondhand bookshops. So then people will go into these secondhand bookshops, and you know, she'll go and buy a book to read by the pool with the cocktails. So she's reading this book halfway through it because, you know, she's doing everything else. Then they pack. They then go home. They then put it in the suitcase to take it home. They then get home, and then you know, they've bought it for like 2-3 quid in this country, which they wouldn't pay in our country because they just wouldn't.
Yeah.
So then they get home from their 2-week holiday in Thailand. They unpack and they're like, "Oh, I've got that book that will sit on the bedside for a couple of weeks." They won't read it, and then they go and donate it to the charity shop, which then put it on the shelf again, and then it starts its cycle again.
Yeah.
Some of these books have probably been around the world more times than David Attenborough himself.
Yeah. It's mental. It's
crazy.
unbelievable. I don't know what the takeaway there is to take your own book on holiday, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing. People don't travel with them. They don't want to travel with them, and then when they're there, they want that book, and then because they're in holiday mode, they'll pay 3-4 quid or £5 because it's an English book.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
I'll sit by the pool. I'll read that of an evening.
Yeah.
And they love it. So they'll pay it. They'll pay anything that the shopkeeper asks. It keeps them in business, and then it comes all the way back.
It's just crazy.
It's crazy what happens.
Oh dear. Maybe leave it in Thailand is better as well, isn't it?
Well, there's usually a book pile in most hotels. There's usually a book pile.
Yeah, or like a book swap or something.
Yeah,
I like finding book swaps.
Or just go donate it back to the shop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be better, isn't it? Save some air miles or shipping miles, however it's moved across. Darren, let's finish with my last question, which is what is the most useful thing we can do to actually support charity shops?
Donate good stuff. Pre-sort it if you can. If it's rubbish, then just say it's rubbish. Don't be sentimental about it. And what you do donate, gift aid.
Right. So why is that so important?
You need to gift aid because they get like an extra 25% on whatever the sale is, and they take it from your tax. So plan when you're going to go. Don't just run in for 2 minutes and park on a double yellow line because that's what everyone does. Take an extra couple of minutes, park, go in, give them your stuff. They'll ask if they don't ask because they're volunteers. They're not on top of it all the time. Just say I haven't got a gift aid, but I'd like to, or I have. If you have got a gift aid with that shop and you are parked on a double yellow, just write your surname and your postcode on the bag. On whatever you're donating. If you've got 10 bags, stick your surname and your postcode, and they'll find you.
They can find your gift aid
if you're gift aided already. Yeah, you only got to set it up once with the shop, and then you'll be fine, and then they'll find you. But then they get 25% more.
That's good because then you can find the charity shop that does the Ragman system, because maybe they all don't do that. You can find the one that does that, and then you gift aid with them, and then that's the one you always go to. Yeah,
and there's one other thing. If there's any like Sparkies out there or anyone that's pat tested.
Oh yes, go on.
Then if you've ever got, you don't have to donate anything, but because you're pat registered and you can pat test, if you've ever got, like, you can go be friendly with them. So if say for instance you're looking for textiles, but you know someone that's pack tested, it's a perfect situation because you could get your textiles and they can get something, because they're not allowed to sell any electricals. Even if we go to Argos right now, buy an electrical toaster, still sealed, never opened, don't give it to them, they can't sell it because it's not been pack tested because of the insurance. So usually in their stock room upstairs, that they will have the best of the best electricals that's come in, just waiting for someone to pack test them.
And it
So
takes not very long to do.
no, it takes for a Sparky, it's literally book done, and he just sticks a sticker on it saying pack tested and the date. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's, yeah, if there is any Sparkies out there or pack testers out there, and they want to donate, a couple of hours once a month. If you go in there and say, because we used to have them in Mail Shop, and he used to come in like once a month, and he'd say, right, get all the best stuff ready. I'll be in on this day, and then we'd just literally get him a pack of biscuits and a cup of tea and send him upstairs, and let him just pack test
that
everything.
stuff probably goes for more money than a piece of
Because
clothing,
like,
doesn't it, as well?
you would have like a PlayStation 2, 3, 4 all come in, and you've got all the games, and then at Christmas time they could make a bundle,
Yeah,
as a
okay.
Christmas gift, but they can't sell them if they're not pack tested.
Yeah, so they're just waiting
Yeah.
to be tested. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's
Well, that's so useful. I hope somebody is listening that can
yeah,
do
definitely.
that. That's would be so useful, wouldn't it, to the shops?
Yeah.
Darren, thank you so much for sharing
You're
all your
most welcome.
knowledge. I really think, I'm sure people will be watching it later as well that couldn't make it, and it'll be really interesting for them to find out. What happens, because all this stuff that you've said, we have no idea that it happens unless you've volunteered in a shop, maybe. So
yeah, it's not a regular thing that's shared out, is it really?
No, I think maybe it should be, because I think I haven't stopped donating to charity shops, but I kind of try not to, because of what I have read in the press. So it's really encouraging to hear that some, but maybe I will check as well. Will this
to
be
fair as well, one thing that's just popped into my head, if you really do want to develop a relationship with a charity shop, probably the one best thing you could do is go and volunteer.
Okay, yeah.
Give them an hour or two of your time. Then one, you get to see the system working.
Yeah.
2, you're helping them. You're giving them some free things. And 3, then you're in. You got your foot in the door. You're not just a customer nagging them like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. You're then part of the team.
Yeah. And they know me and trust me and things as well.
It's not an underhand way, because you're going to give them an hour or two of your time. You can say, look, I've because you're traveling, so if you picked one charity shop, you could then say, go to that one and then do a couple of times with that one, and then when you find another place, you could say, I've done it with this one before, I know the crack, I'm happy to do an hour or two for you if you want to help.
What would that even be, so for me traveling, just doing it like a one-off?
I'm pretty sure. I think you'd have to fill out the form just to sign in that. But I'm pretty sure if you say, I've been with XYZ shop, in London, I've been in Hampstead, I've been in Southend, I've done with Age UK with all of them. You know the crack, you say, I'm happy to I'm in the area for 3 or 4 days. Would you like any help?
No, it's a good idea. I need to get in and start doing that somewhere, definitely. Is there anything else you feel the audience would like to know about the system?
Don't think so.
I think we've covered a lot there.
I think that's it. I think I've talked your ear off.
No, it's so interesting. I love it. And I think the people, like I said, will have found it super interesting as well. So thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
And if I get any other difficult questions from people, I might slide them your way.
Just tag me in them, and I'll jump in and answer. No worries.
Cool, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for watching and listening in. Sorry
Yeah.
I wasn't replying to all the highs and everything, but
Yeah.
we were fully chatting. But yeah, enjoy your evening, Darren, and enjoy your
Will
evening,
do.
everybody, and
Take it
see you
easy.
soon.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.